Welcome to Odyssey Astrology. I'm Victor. I wanted to talk about when to run away from an astrologer. A lot of us, well, there's a lot of different astrologers, and they're all saying different things. They all have different styles, different ways of engaging with people. And I feel that the use and the role of an astrologer is to suggest things to you, to give you perspective on your life. If you're having trouble with your relationship or your job or your house or whatever it is, your spiritual life, the astrologer can say, well, it might be happening because of this. You're in a certain planetary period, or there's a certain transit. Maybe there's a difficult transit with Saturn or Mars or who knows what. But he can draw your attention to certain things and what areas of your life they're affecting and what the timetable is for that. An astrologer is a good tool for highlighting these periods in your life and what's going on in them for you. But I don't think he's good at, or she is good at, telling you when to make big changes in your life, to say things like, oh, you need to move, you need to change cities, you need to change your job, you need to change your spouse. All these kind of things can get people in trouble. And I know that it's happened a lot where someone's had a reading with an astrologer or a psychic or any sort of spiritual counselor, let's say, and they say, oh, for you to be spiritually at your highest level, you need to relocate, or you need to leave your husband or leave your wife, or just crazy pieces of advice like that they have no business telling to anyone. And I've experienced it with my friends, and I've seen it happen from the outside, and it's scary. And when people get involved with an astrologer or a psychic who's giving advice like that, it can be very dangerous, because these people can have a lot of mental power, let's say, and they can manipulate people in order to feel more powerful, let's say, or to feel more important. And it doesn't have to be conscious. They might not be consciously doing it, but for people like that, they identify with their own psychic power a lot of times, and they take pride in it. And so even subconsciously, there can be a motivation to sort of influence people as much as they can in order to feel powerful. It's sort of like being a really big, strong athlete and taking pride in being able to bully people or beat people up. Well, that's a negative trait that we can all identify very easily. But for someone like an astrologer or a psychic, they can do the same thing very easily. They can say, oh, you're doing this wrong, or you're doing that wrong. You need to start a new life. You need to go here or there, or you need to follow me more. You need to do more readings with me. Whatever it is, to either get money out of you or to get influence, to feel more powerful. And for whatever reason, some people are very susceptible to that sort of influence. And so if you're close to someone like that, I would encourage you to try to steer them away from making decisions based on the advice of someone maybe they don't even know that well. And so the signs, I think, red flags would be telling you to make dramatic changes in your life without a sensitivity to the human side of it. For example, well, maybe an astrologer sees that it's right for you to leave your spouse. Who knows if it's right or not? I don't know that astrologers can always see that. But maybe they're not sensitive to the fact that, well, you're attached to your family, you're attached to your spouse, there's other things going on. So maybe in one aspect, it might help you to do something dramatic like that, like move or change your partner or change your job. But on the other side, we also have to look at, on a practical level, like all of the things that's influencing, all of the people in your life that could help or hurt, and make decisions based on that practical perspective as well. It's not so esoteric. Life is not so esoteric that we can make decisions based on something abstract like astrology only or psychic counsel. I think we should take into account all of the sort of practical considerations with these decisions we're making too. And I just don't think it's the role of an astrologer to tell someone, oh, you should leave your spouse, or you should move, or you should change a job. I just don't think that it's their job to change your life from the outside. I think it's to draw your attention to qualities that you have on the inside, psychological qualities, emotional qualities, habits, mental habits, emotional habits that you might have in order so that you can transform them. And then if you're transforming yourself from the inside out and you change your partner or you change your job, well, then that was a natural falling away. But that wasn't because an astrologer or a psychic told you to make that change. It happened on its own because you changed something on the inside. And so, yeah, the other perspective we could look at it from is sometimes we do need to make changes in our life, but maybe we're not ready for it until we make the the sort of complementary change from within. And when we make that change, it will fall away. And so I think for an astrologer, it's better to focus on things like that, to say, oh, if the client is looking for a partner, you could say, well, here are the patterns you have in who you are going to end up with. And it's good for you to be aware of that. And maybe if a partner comes through this area of your life or that area of your life, it could be better. But you see, that's an example where the astrologer's not trying to make the decision for you. He's sort of laying a framework. He's framing a certain area of your life, and he's drawing your attention to certain ways that things might turn out better or worse. But it's not a set in stone piece of advice. And so when you get that really sort of rigid, like obvious advice from an astrologer about what to do or what not to do, I think it's a red flag. But the danger is that a lot of people want that advice. People don't want the burden of making decisions for themselves. And so the other thing, before you even go to an astrologer, you have to be honest with yourself about how much responsibility you're willing to take for your life, because it's not really his job to make decisions for you. It's his job to draw your awareness to psychological patterns that you have. So if you like the video, please comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. Maybe we can incorporate that into future videos. If anyone has stories about experiences with astrologers or psychics, I'd love to hear about them. You can always email me at odysseyastrology@gmail.com, and I hope to see you again soon.